I'm wondering, are there any moments when you're like, I might have to leave Korea. I don't know if I can stay in Korea. I don't know if Korea's for me, but then you changed your mind.
I think it's happened like 5 times just today.
Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sean. In this video, I'm here in Seoul and I'm asking foreigners living here, what are some moments where you thought you might have to leave Korea? Maybe for financial reasons, personal reasons, maybe Korea just isn't the right country for me. So times where they almost left Korea but decided to stay here. I'm also asking people who have come here more recently, what are some initial doubts, some objections you had to coming to Korea, and why did you eventually decide to come anyway? Also, if you're currently studying English, I recently released my course, 미국은 전에 여행 마스터. This is a great course if you're planning to travel, study abroad, or move to another English-speaking country. We go over things like ordering in cafes, restaurants, talking to immigration at the airport, and many other situations. So far, people are loving the course. Click the link down below to watch a free sample. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Okay, so hello, my name is Jennifer. I'm from Sweden and I'm doing great.
Why are you in Korea?
So I'm here as a student. So I'm attending Sogang University, but I'm also doing activities as like a rapper and dancer. So, but mostly for school, but also here for arts. Yeah. So I'm doing double majoring in business administration and media entertainment. I've been here for 3 years now.
Wow, okay. I'm wondering, are there any moments when you're like, I might have to leave Korea. I don't know if I can stay in Korea. I don't know if Korea's for me, but then you changed your mind.
I think it's happened like 5 times just today.
Okay. Tell me anything.
Yeah, I think Korea is a really nice country to be in, especially like as I am an artist. There's so many opportunities here to like work with my crafts and to perform. But at the same time, when it comes to like social connections, I'm not sure if this is a country that I could live in like long term for like 10, 20 years.
Sure.
Because I think I'm very family oriented. So like I want to start a family, like have kids and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if this is the right country to do that in, which is like the main thing I'm considering right now. And also like after graduation, I think it might be hard to find a job as a foreigner. Even though my Korean is quite good, I think there's like other factors that also play into like consideration. So that's like what I'm really considering right now after I graduate. Am I going to stay in Korea and build my career here? But then because of the reasons I just listed, I'm not quite sure if it's like if I want to stay.
Other than that, I guess you're pretty satisfied living here?
I really am. I think I met really amazing people in Korea, so I really like living here. I feel more at home here than I do at home. I guess except for the fact that my family's in here, but I really enjoy living here, and I could see myself being here for like a long time as well.
Living abroad anywhere, it's tough if you're really family oriented.
Yes.
Would it not be enough to just visit Sweden every year on the plane?
I mean, I do that as well, but it goes like quite some time in between. So, and when I'm home, like I'm home for like 1-2 months and it feels great. But then the second I come back, I miss my siblings, I miss my parents. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference between you and me. It takes like 16 hours to go to the US.
Yeah.
I go there maybe once every 2 years.
Oh.
I talk to my mom on FaceTime and I do miss them. I'm not saying that at all, but I do have like a good thing going in here, a good situation, and yeah, you need your family.
I do need my family, yeah. I have a new single out. It's called Gelato. It's out on all streaming platforms, so please make sure to check it out. Oh yeah, my Instagram is _KJ.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Louise and I'm from the UK.
What originally brought you to Korea?
I actually did my undergraduate studies in Chinese with Korean studies, and then I was working as a researcher in Korean studies in the UK. So then I got a scholarship to come here, and then I decided to have an adventure while I don't have a mortgage or kids or anything like that. So yeah.
Love that decision.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here now altogether?
It's been around 1 year. I have a 2-year master's program, so this is the start of my 2nd year.
Before coming to Korea, I'm sure you did some research, watched some maybe YouTube videos, looked online. I'm kind of wondering what were, if any, some of your maybe initial objections, initial things you were hesitant about, maybe wondering if Korea was the right place for you?
I think sometimes it's hard for foreigners to penetrate into society in Korea. I think I saw many YouTube videos where people said the same thing. So then I also thought like maybe that will be hard for me because I think I like feeling like I belong.
Right.
So,
how important is that for you? Is that very important?
Pretty important, but also I think you can have good self-development when you have to like rely on yourself as well. So, you know. I'm also vegetarian, so that was worrying because I know Koreans like love Korean barbecue and meat and everything, and my experience coming here is also that every place has meat and they're like a bit confused if I ask like why would you want to have X thing without meat or something like that, but you have to really research in order to be a vegetarian in Korea, and you can't in Korea you can't just go out any place and try to eat something somewhere.
In spite of this kind of research, you came anyway? Were those valid things to worry about?
I feel like integration into society is less worrying if you're a student. There's always something that you can like grab onto a lot, and there's like more ways to meet people if you're a student. Like I'm also a dancer, like I do dance as my hobby, so
Cool.
actually I managed to meet a lot of Korean people through doing dance and talking with like dance teachers in Korean and stuff like that. So
You'll be
there's
fine.
definitely some way.
You'll be
right?
fine.
Yeah. So there's always some way, and like this kind of hobby, I think some people do sports as well, like clubs, that can also help you to integrate. You have to be like outgoing person, I think, maybe to help you, but otherwise it's definitely possible. And Shincheon is okay for vegetarian places as well. So.
Great. Now you've been here for a year. Have there been any moments throughout your year here that you were like, I don't know if Korea is right for me. I don't know if I can continue to stay here, live here, maybe work here. But despite that, you're like, I'm going to keep going.
I think the weather is hard in Korea, especially because I'm British. In Britain, we have like fairly mild weather. We don't have like super hot summer or super cold winter. So this thing I think is hard. And I actually went home in the winter this year. But if I didn't, and this year I might stay here, I think that's something that's like I'm worried about, like to be alone, because I live alone. So like to be alone, and then there's no university because it's the winter break, and then you know it's extremely cold outside. So I feel like that's actually very intense.
You didn't expect that, huh? Insanely cold, insanely hot.
Right, and just in the middle it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
the spring is so nice, and the autumn is gonna be beautiful, and then
Can't wait. The rainy season too.
Right. I mean, I am British though, but yeah, we don't have monsoon. Yeah.
Right.
Now I feel like I know what's going on. I know what everything is. I know what I like to do. So yeah.
Made a good choice.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, cool. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Morgan. I'm from Miami, Florida.
What brings you to Korea?
I'm doing actually a study abroad in Yonsei University. My major is computer science, but I'm mostly just taking like cultural classes while I'm here.
Why come to Korea?
When I was looking for a study abroad, I was kind of more focused in Asia and stuff like that. And my options were Korea or Japan, and then I kind of chose Korea because I think here it's a lot more normal for people to speak English. So it's a more comfortable environment for me to be in. Looking at that, I didn't really know any Korean coming here, so I chose Korea because of that.
Okay, so you heard it's like more English-speaking friendly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main reasons why I came here.
That's like the reputation of Seoul, maybe.
Yeah.
You're doing your research, you're listening to people, you're looking on YouTube. Anything that made you like hesitant? I don't know if Korea is right for me. Was there anything like that?
Before I had to come here, I had to do some research about Korea and like look at the state of it. And I saw that in Korea, the job market and everything is super, super competitive.
Yeah.
So I read in that like people had to take multiple jobs just to get by. And they're taking like some awkward side gigs and stuff like that. So the job market's very competitive. The pay is not a lot. And I'm not just going for a study abroad. I'm also maybe considering like other places I could live in the world for a bit. In Korea, especially for my major, which is computer science, it's super, super competitive to get anything, especially as a foreigner. So I guess that made it more difficult for me to choose Korea, but at the end of the day, it's still a great learning experience for me to come here.
Seems a bit saturated.
Very, yeah. And it's so competitive here too, like the schooling and everything. I've heard like just getting from high school to like college is like super, super competitive. Kids are always stressed out, so.
And Koreans are really smart too, so it's like not just any competition, it's like high level competition.
Yeah. Just like comparing my knowledge in computer science to some of the kids I met here, like they're already leagues beyond what I know, and we're just the same age. And also they had to go to like the military, so it's pretty intimidating.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Eva or Eva. I come from Germany.
What brings you to Korea?
I'm an exchange here actually for my studies.
What do you study?
I'm studying Korean actually, so Korean studies at home and also here. So the semester is mandatory for me at my studies, so that's why I'm here.
You're studying Korean in Germany?
Yeah.
I was wondering, are there any moments like, is coming to Korea, is that the right choice? Is this what I should do? And then I'm curious, what convinced you to continue to pursue it?
In my studies, I heard a lot about the negative points of Korea, like the working culture and like the patriarchy is a lot worse here than it is in European countries, even though it is still bad in European countries.
Yeah, and
so,
this is just what you heard?
Yeah, exactly.
From where? From friends? From online? From YouTube? Or
from my professors, like we talk a lot about these kind of themes too.
So you were worried about this stuff?
Yeah.
But you decided, you know what? whatever, we're gonna try anyway.
Yeah, because last year when I visited, even though like I knew there are a lot of negative things, I still enjoyed like being here and experiencing the culture and just everything basically.
Yeah.
And Korean people are very nice, so
Yeah. So maybe what you heard, what you were afraid of, maybe doesn't really match to reality, or
I think it still matches to reality, but like it's reality everywhere. Like
not just Korea.
no, it's not just Korea, so that's why I still went here. It doesn't
Take away
English is so hard sometimes. Yeah,
It's okay.
take away from my interest in the language. So
Sure.
yeah.
Your English
That's
is
why I
great,
say
by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like watching a movie. Let me
Yeah.
explain. Your friend goes to the movie theater, watches the movie. Hey, I loved it because of this, this, and this, and this, and they spoil it. And it kind of influences your opinion when you watch the movie too. Do you almost wish that you didn't get that influence of the things to be careful of about Korea, that you could kind of come here and experience it completely fresh?
No, I don't think so. Like I think it's important to like know about the country before you go to the country and also know about positive and negative things. I think it's okay to like know some stuff before coming here, even though like it obviously influences my opinion of Korea
Sure.
in some kind of way, but I still then get to experience it and make my own opinion of it.
Right, that's important.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Bram and I'm from the Netherlands.
What brings you to Korea?
I study here at Seoul National University.
Why come here? You could have gone anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
Everybody asks you this question, and now
Everybody.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, now it's just to kind of push my limits. I've never been to Asia before. I've known Europe my entire life. America is kind of similar to Europe, and I just wanted something totally different.
What is like the image of Korea in the Netherlands?
Very kind, bit hold back, introvert, and not as direct as we are. Kind of that's the biggest, and good food, fried chicken and karaoke.
Cool. This is what you've heard about Koreans in Korea.
That's what I heard. I just want to go to a wealthy Asian country,
Yeah.
like Japan or Korea. That's how I got
Okay.
to Korea.
But Korea won.
Korea won, yeah, they definitely did.
You mentioned that your friends lived here and recommended going to live in Shincheon, right?
Yeah.
What else did they kind of tell you about, maybe warn you about, maybe inform you about Korea?
We know as Dutch people that we are sometimes too direct. We don't do a hierarchy, it's all same level. Normally, like after lectures, we just drink in a pub with our lecturers and professors,
Oh, wow.
and that's not a thing here. So also correcting the professor when he's wrong, well, you can't really do it here. While
Yeah.
it's acceptable in the Netherlands, and they are open for discussion. And that's one thing that was like really recommended. Don't correct people when they are wrong, and they're kind of in this country above you. Well, we don't see it as above, but
Was that a little intimidating when you heard about that, or you didn't really mind?
no, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I'll be more silent. I don't know. They
Cool.
didn't really mind.
You're a man that fears nothing.
Not professors.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Zimri. I'm from California, Sacramento, America.
What brings you to Korea?
A lot of things brought me to Korea. Music, I've been so passionate about since as long as I can remember. I've heard of K-pop in like high school, and so I decided to take a peep at what it was, and my whole world was turned upside down instantly.
K-pop just grabbed you.
It did, because I thought that was so beautiful, because it comes from a place outside of America, a place I wouldn't really expect to make something so genuine and so great, and that was really eye-opening for me.
So K-pop grabs you, you eventually come to Korea.
Yes.
How is it living here?
It's quite astounding on all levels, everything about Korea. But the thing that has captivated me most though here is just genuinely just the amount of love people have in their hearts. People's hearts are so big, they're so warm. Korea, like I was saying, it's not all just glitz and glam, it's not all highs. It has high highs but low lows. That's where I think, what really makes something beautiful is the struggle, the things that you go through. That's what builds character, that's what builds resilience. And Korea, there's so much less than ideal circumstances.
What struggles are you talking about?
Education. America heavily emphasize education too, right?
We have really good universities.
Exactly, and they're renowned worldwide, globally. But in comparison, you know, America, it's a bit more laid back, you know? At least in my experience, if you didn't want to go to college, if you didn't want to go to university, if you didn't want to go to school, parents would be upset, but it's not like you're cooked, you know? It's not like it's over for you. But in Korea, that is like the thing people push on their kids. It's education, and they work so hard. There is so much pressure. It's just study, work. They have like what, 10, 12-hour days in school, you know, because they go to school, they have homework, they study, they go to hagwons, more studying, tutors, all of that. I don't know how I would be able to
cope under that pressure.
Exactly, yeah, because I come from a place that's more laid back, that's allowing me to be...
Take your time to explore what you want.
Exactly. I feel like I've been able to learn more about myself because of that. I didn't have the pressure. I just basically had all the free time in the world. You know, it wasn't like anybody was like cracking down on me, that I was able to just really learn about myself and learn about the world in an unfiltered way too. Korea is just kind of like a paradox, you know, because it can be very superficial, very surface level. Like perfectionism, lookism, those things are huge here. But also, it's just a paradox because people here still have so much capacity for love and empathy in the people.
Depth.
Yes, they're still so warm because of that. It's quite unfathomable to me. You know, I don't know if I will ever be able to wrap my head around it.
So it sounds like for you, it's like a combination of music, fascinating culture in Korea, the K-pop industry and K-pop music. It gives you purpose here in Korea.
Exactly.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Shan and I'm from Germany.
What brings you to Korea?
I am here to study at Yonsei University and to eat lots of Korean food and play at PC Bang.
Top 3 Korean food.
I really love tteokbokki, I love mandukguksu, and I love bulgogi.
Cool, and you play at the PC Bang.
Yes, I really love PC Bang because I don't have a computer at home.
What game?
Valorant.
Valorant, good choice. I love Valorant. What keeps you coming back to Korea?
The food, PC Bang, the vibe, and meeting new people every time I'm here is like really good.
Is it easier to do these kinds of things compared to Germany?
I think I can do that in Germany too, but it's easier for me in another country because everyone is like kind of new from the other foreigners here, so it's like easier to connect for me, and there are not many foreigners in my city, so.
Okay, so do you think that it's easier to meet foreigners as a foreigner than to be in Germany and to meet foreigners as a German?
It's easier here because many students are from abroad at Yonsei, so it's easy to connect. Like, I'm studying to become a primary school teacher, so I was thinking of becoming a teacher in Korea, but I'm not sure if I will do it.
Why?
I will have to master learning the language first to feel confident enough that I can live here for a longer time.
Yeah.
I hope I will be able to study the language and then I want to be a teacher here.
So that is the goal? Or is it the hope?
I think it's the hope.
Okay.
Goal and hope.
Cool, it seems like you're really enjoying your time here.
When I was going out with friends yesterday evening, they were like really scared of like walking in the dark, and I feel like in Korea it's like for me really safe place to be alone and walk alone. So I think that's something I also really like about Korea. I feel safe going around, especially as a woman.
More than Germany?
I mean, in Germany it's not that bad too. But like they were from America, so maybe that's why they were more scared. But I feel like really safe here, and that's what I like about Korea too.
You think maybe that's why a lot of young women these days are coming to Korea? Is that a big reason? It's safe here?
It's safe, but I think also like K-pop and K-drama are like pushing.
It's attracting a lot of people.
Yeah, it's attracting a lot of people to come here. Also makeup and skincare, there's stuff like really cheap here. So I think many people want to go and experience Korea for a bit.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.